Hey, welcome to the Sex with Dr. Zen Show. My name is Marianne Marlowe. This is the second taping of the show, and I'm really happy to have my sponsor have the venue to open up the second show tonight. I'm going to bring them on as first set of guests. The owner, Yana, and her sexy little employee, marketing event planner, Fatima. I'm going to bring them on and we're going to open up some sexy little files. And second guest is my second sponsor, who is Nicole Hyatt. And her business is Tan on the Run. She's going to do a little demo on me. And the next guest that I'm going to bring on is Philip Strapp. Philip is a surrogate partner therapist. And I want to know a few questions I'm going to ask him about that profession. Bruce Anderson is going to enlighten us on orgasm meditation, one of my favorite vibrations. I can't wait to ask him a few questions on that juicy little topic. And Trevor Sherwin is going to open us up to learn about the artistic seduction when we take pictures with photography, and Gail Scott's going to come on and give us a few little pointers on self-pleasuring, something that I need to know. We have 8 sexy guests. We've got 8 stimulating topics. Can't wait to open up the sex files right after this. Great, welcome to the show, you two, from the Oasis. It's nice to have the owner here, Yana, and Fatima, one of your employees, Fatima Mishtab. And so I'm really curious about the Oasis and the lounge itself. It's really interesting. I've been here a few times. Where did you come up with the idea, first of all, to open a place like this for adult play?
It's a very long story.
Is it? Okay, keep it short.
I'm going to make it short.
Okay.
I'm going to make it short. Basically, we were trying to come up with different concepts than other clubs had to accommodate people like you or me or anybody else who has kids who, doesn't have necessarily all night to be out and be dancing, being kept on the dance floor. We try to come with a concept when people can come at any time of the day. They can leave early. They have 3 kids at home and they need to wake up next day in the morning.
Right.
So just change the concept for just regular people to be able to enjoy more time with one another.
How do you feel about this important element being in the adult playtime? Like, how important is that to have this type of venue, this outlet for adults to explore sexuality and just to be able to explore?
I think it's very important. I think it's important for our partners and couples to connect with one another in a venue that is outside of the hustle and bustle of everyday life.
Right.
Sometimes we just don't take enough time to appreciate our partners or their bodies or explore their desires because the real world is so busy. So Oasis is a great place for people to come and explore that in a relaxing, sexy environment.
It is sexy. It's really...
Well, if you look at the divorce rate these days,
it's pretty high.
Who isn't divorced? So, it gives the couples more opportunity to really stay together. If they've been married 20 years and there might be a little bored of the sexual aspect of the marriage.
Do you have you had any comments from people saying after they've been part of the club for many years that they've saved your marriage? Yeah, really, hey?
Yeah, we've had. And not necessarily maybe save the marriage, but improve the relationship. And people love to come here and gives them something very different to do. So once people get comfortable here, they just like second home.
So what's allowed and what's not allowed? Is there a limit that you can explore here? Do you have certain rules?
We have certain rules, particularly when it comes to BDSM play.
Right.
So because this particular room is like a play dungeon, there's certain things that we don't allow as far as BDSM activity.
Right.
We have rules in place with the club to keep everybody safe and respected. So rules like no touching without asking, no means no, ask once, don't ask twice, and we inform all of our guests when they arrive at the club of these rules.
Right.
And
Yeah, no, there's so many rules, but everybody who enters the club needs to be aware of all the rules. So everybody is being told, and it includes small things, or not small things, a big thing like no cameras,
Yeah,
and no phones,
exactly.
since everybody has a phone. So one part of it is obviously the privacy. Second part is leave the phone in your locker and enjoy the time.
Yeah,
There.
this, yeah.
But you know, there's rules and common knowledge between people who come enjoy this place, even though they're newcomers and they might never been. People are very respectful, but they definitely have to sign the waiver. They have to be aware of all the rules. And then if there's any problems, they're encouraged to come to any of the staff and then let us know if they have any concerns.
Right.
And it's actually like an education, how to behave out of Oasis. If you go to a club, especially we do, Fatima does the right approach. We teach the guys how to behave in company of the women, not to touch them, not to grab them. When you go to the club, how many times you've been spanked on your
Do they have to be taught? I mean, is it so out of control that way? They just don't know?
Well, have you not been in a club when guys would, you know, improperly touch you or try to undo your
Yeah,
t-shirt?
well, they don't really come to
Pull
me.
on the
They're afraid.
string, You know, oh, nice eyes, or stupid comments, you know,
So-
oh, nice boobs, girl, whatever.
Yeah.
So, you know, we try to educate,
Yeah.
and then on our students' nights also, when you can take your attitude from here and then implement it in the rest of the world.
So does this environment give people a voice, do you think? Like, so that they can just identify who they are individually as a sexual human being? Is it,
I absolutely think it does. Absolutely.
right? You do workshops here too.
Yes, we do. We do all different kinds of workshops here. Sometimes we bring in instructors. Sometimes the staff will put them on. I've organized a couple of workshops. We like to have a balance of fun and, you know, educating people and bringing in new sexual concepts to people, introducing people to new things.
Right.
And I definitely think it gives people here a voice to express their, you know, their sexual expression.
Right. How do you think, do you have any people giving you, like, I mean, neighbors in the neighborhood or just other businesses? Do they ever
No, we've
question
actually
the place
been
at
on
all?
very good relationships
Yeah.
with pretty much everybody around the neighborhood, except one or two neighbors from next door.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, people are having sex in the backyard. Let's call for noise complaint.
See, that's like
There
a,
is a sex club. People have orgasms.
It gets noisy.
isn't it so misunderstood?
But generally speaking, it's been 1 or 2% over the years. But other than that, all the businesses, and due to the nature of the club before and then how it was run, especially at the end, it was not very good. So people were happy that we took over, and then, you know, everything's clean and there's no garbage.
Great.
And then, you know, people behave in here. They don't leave drunk. They don't. We don't have loud music.
And there's
so.
constant education going on. Like every time I see the calendar, it's just full of
Yeah.
just really important information. And I think the more that catches on, society's going to really catch on. Like they're just warped out there, you know. So
Yeah.
people, when they come in here and they realize, wow, this isn't just like a sex lounge, or it's not.
Yeah, it's more.
I'm coming here. I'm really learning something,
Yeah.
you know, and everybody's free to exchange and ask questions. There's no inhibitions really. This is where you can really be uninhibited.
Yeah, we've had pretty much everything from plastic surgeons to naked yoga to naked aerobic to
Naked
Thai
karaoke?
massage,
I love that one.
Naked karaoke, yeah.
How is that?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I need to come to
so
that.
fun.
I can
It's so
sing.
much
I was
fun.
actually singing. I was on the
Were you?
stage.
I gotta. Wow, that is. I mean, I saw that in the last
It's a lot.
calendar.
We
Yeah.
try to bring new things into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that really popular though? The karaoke thing?
Yeah, it's definitely getting popular. It's sort of something new that we started doing on the second Thursday of the month.
Second Thursday.
And we actually offer student pricing on that day as well too. So
Do you have to be naked though? I mean, that's a choice, right?
yeah,
You don't have to do anything.
Get
and
your
don't
clothes
want
off.
It always says that's one of the major rules.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm as an owner, I'm never naked, so everybody has to get used to it.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
I sing terribly and I'm with clothes. Trigger that one. It's really not pretty.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you were mentioning the rules, so, and I just kind of tapped into it, one of the major rules is that there's really nothing what you have to do.
Right.
Like you said, you know, do I have to be naked? Do I have to have sex? Do I have to have sex with other people? Do I have to fuck?
Some people think that, though, hey?
You don't have to do anything. You can bring your bathing suit. You can have your clothes, lingerie. You can be just with your partner.
Yeah.
You can just dance.
There's
or
lots of
drink.
little intimate places
You can
around.
decide what you want it to be.
Yeah.
That's what we really like. We really
Great.
make sure that people don't feel pressured into anything what they are not comfortable
That's
with.
awesome. I have to wrap this up, and I could talk more about the
Awesome.
facility and have you on again. And it was great having you. We'll be
Thank you.
right back.
Thank you for having me.
One. Okay, welcome back to the Sex with Dr. Zen Show, and my next guest is Nicole Hyatt, and she has a business, Tan on the Run, and she's going to do a little demo and just talk to me a little bit about what this organic tanning is, and nice to have you here.
Yes, thank you.
Love it. So tell me a little bit about your Tan on the Run and you know what it is and where you go and
So we're a mobile company. I've been in business for about 10 years.
Right.
I go to the person's home, office, hotel, or set. Tan lasts for about 7 to 10 days. I now have 28 locations across Canada as well, so whatever city you're in, you can get nicely bronzed.
cool. So you just pack it all up and just representatives just go out and do the little thing. You just set up
everything
appointments
fits
and
into the
wait.
suitcase. This packs down into a pretty small little case, and in and out in about 20 minutes.
That's awesome. I mean, does it like color your skin? Does it come off?
Our
like
products are all organic and
Right.
hypoallergenic. The active ingredient is DHA, which is a beet sugar. So that stains the outer layer of your skin.
Right.
And as your skin sheds naturally, for lack of a better word, the tan comes off. So it lasts for about a week.
It's healthy.
Yes.
All those little nutrients get absorbed into the skin.
Yeah, it actually leaves you feeling moisturized.
Yeah. So how popular is this, do you think? Is it getting more popular as
It
we go?
is.
Because we're living in a more of an organic lifestyle now.
Yeah, tanning beds are soon, I think, going to be completely out,
Yeah.
and this will be in. When I started about 10 years ago, people were kind of looking at me weird, like you're going to go in people's houses and do this. And now it's caught on. So I have 28 locations in Canada alone,
Right.
6 in Egypt, 3 in Greece,
Wow.
Uruguay, and Trinidad.
It is hot there though.
That's what I thought too when I
So
first
what's up
went
with that?
there. It's the tourist actually, so
Oh,
it's in the
okay.
high-end hotels and resorts.
Right.
So the tourists come at the beginning, get their tan, and then at the end they leave with it, so it looks like they've been laying in the sun. And
Yeah, well,
haven't
and
been.
they're all like health conscious about the sun and the rays, the UV rays and all that stuff. And I'm thinking that, yeah.
Exactly, that's cancer causing. So
Yeah,
that's a
for
big
sure.
up to doing it this way, is that it's healthy
Wow.
and you get the color you want in one session.
So what's the cost to have a session done?
It ranges, depends on what city, but average is about $60 per person. If you do groups of people or parties, then it works out to a lot cheaper.
Right. Do you do it?
I do. Right now I'm white, but
You know, you have
on the
color.
whiter side.
So you have to do it, but you have to do it consistently, like
Yeah,
every.
about once a week to keep it up. I can't tan myself, so it's a matter of, in our busy season, trying to get someone to actually
Right.
come and tan me.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I want you to just do a little spray on me. I just want to see how
Sure.
it feels, and I
Yes.
want to. Does it have an odor to it?
It's got a scent, but it's not a bad one.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to check it out.
Is
you
it
can-
organic? The
It is
scent?
organic.
And is it wet? Will it drip? Will it?
It's
is
not
it going to
gonna
dry?
drip, you're just gonna feel
It
a little bit of
absorbs.
stickiness on
Yeah.
your arm,
Is it
and
sticky
that's
after?
For a little
Okay,
bit,
let's
it will
just
be.
try it out.
So you can step in.
Okay. Wow.
What do you want to try out? Just your arm?
Yeah. Just I just want to see.
Okay, so this is going to be loud like a vacuum.
Is it? It's loud.
Yeah, I'll just do 2 seconds. Of
So you have to bring all this stuff with you, hey?
Yes, everything comes.
Cool.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, here we go. So you can just put your arm out like that and look the opposite.
Sounds like a vacuum. I'm not supposed to look at it?
No, don't look at it while I'm doing it.
Oh yeah. Like it's just like water mist, hey?
To the inside, look that way.
Oh. It does smell like a sweet, like a beet smell
And
or
that's
something.
it.
That's kind of cool. Let's see. Wow, it's instant tan,
So
man.
that dries and then
That's instant. Oh, don't touch?
Don't touch.
How long do you have to let it dry?
You let it dry for about 20 minutes. I'll pat you off and fix you
20
up, though.
minutes?
Yes.
So you have to kind of just walk around all naked in your house?
Yes.
Yeah.
In your house. Usually I'm in your house, so you're a lot more comfortable.
What about if you go out and what if you tanned with this? Like, let's say you're down in Jamaica or wherever, and you get this done at your hotel room, and then you go out in the sun. Like,
It'll tan over top, so you wouldn't do it right before you go out on the beach. You'd do it the day before your event
Oh,
or something,
cool.
and give it a chance to.
yeah, look at that.
set in.
Hey, that's pretty bronzy, isn't it?
Yes.
So what about your face though?
Yeah, most people do their face as well.
You have to close your eyes and just open your eyes after, and that's it.
Exactly.
It smells good. It's sweet. What's it made from again?
It's actually a watermelon scent. So
Well, it is.
DHA
That's
is
nice.
the active ingredient, which is the beet sugar.
Wow. So, do you find yourself like expanding like just more worldwide?
Yeah, I've done Dragon's Den a couple times now, so that's
Have
obviously
ya?
helped with the expansion of things as
Yeah.
well, and it's just getting more and more popular as the time goes on.
That's cool. Yeah. So so packages, you can buy packages.
Yeah, you can buy a package of 4, make it a little bit cheaper. You can do groups, so
Right.
6 and over. Instead of Tupperware parties, now there's tanning parties.
Yeah, because you know what? I mean, I get that because when we have color and we have like a little glow, it's like sexy.
Everyone just feels better with a tan.
Yeah, and it gives you confidence. I think when you're, in the middle of winter and you're all white and dark and gray, I mean,
Yeah.
you kind of just like bounce out like a peacock when you have color.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that this is like all really sexy stuff. So I think everybody should have a tan so they can get sexier.
Yes, everything looks better.
Really?
When you have
Everything
a short
does.
Skirt, when you have
Yeah.
no sleeves, everything just looks better.
So geez, so then you should be going around and encouraging more women to get sexy, so
Oh, yes,
sexy
I'm on
looking,
it.
so that
I
they're.
can make you have more cleavage, abs, make your butt look a little bit rounder, any of those type of things.
But I think it's an element. I think it's part of sexuality too. It's self-care.
Yes.
I mean, you're taking care of your hair and your nails. Why not look at that? Everybody's flipping through the magazines, right? And they see that, beautiful bronze-looking woman, and that's sexy.
It gives you much more confidence in a bikini or a bathing suit or anything
Yeah.
like that as well too, just to have everything kind of smooth.
Do you have people that tan with? They don't want the whole body tan. They put
Yeah,
their bathing
so
suit on, so they want the lines,
Yeah,
right?
some like tan lines, some like no tan lines. I
Right.
see like 20 naked people a day, so it doesn't bother me either way. It's fine with me.
It's a good self-esteem booster.
Yes, for sure.
I love it. I tan. We tan. We need to be having color this time of year, especially in this part of the world.
Yeah, everyone's just feeling a little
Yeah,
bit
this is kind of
pasty
really
right now.
nasty right now. Well, okay, it was great having you here on the show, and I've got spots. See,
Yeah, I'm gonna
that's why
fix
you
you up.
said not to
Don't
touch it.
Don't touch more. I'm gonna
Right.
fix you
So,
up.
but it's interesting, and it is sticky too.
Yes,
so,
it is.
will that
It's a sugar
stickiness?
base,
Will the
that's why.
stickiness go away?
It does. It goes down after about 20 minutes or so. It
So-
won't feel as sticky.
Oh,
but
okay.
It still will feel.
So it's really cool. I love it. Smells good, looks good, feels good, and it's healthy. It's all good.
Yeah.
Great having you here.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for having me. Great. Philip Strapp, I have some questions for you in regards to surrogate partner therapy. You're a therapist in that category. So explain to me what a surrogate is.
Well, a surrogate partner works with a talk therapist to help the client with things that just can't really be created in the traditional therapy setting. With talk therapy, there's a lot of rules. For example, the therapist is generally not allowed to touch the client.
Right.
So if, let's say, someone has some problem with being touched,
Right.
as perhaps the result of childhood abuse,
Yeah.
then a surrogate partner can work with the therapist and work with the client
Right.
to help them get over that. Traditionally, the surrogate partner and the therapist alternate. So the client would see the surrogate partner for a session, then the talk therapist for a session,
Right.
to kind of unpack it.
Okay.
And the surrogate partner and talk therapist are in communication. It's a little bit like if you go to your family doctor and he would refer you to a physiotherapist.
Right. So who are the types of people that need surrogate therapy?
Well, generally someone that has some kind of relationship problem that can't be created or really addressed in the talk therapy setting. For example, if it's a sexual dysfunction, that certainly you can't really go very deep into that
Yeah.
with just talking about it, because it's it's an actual real problem
Right.
that involves touch.
Right.
It could be something as simple as social anxiety, where
Right.
somebody is really nervous about going on a date. The common thing is that people are usually single and have some kind of relationship.
Usually
problem.
single?
Usually single.
Really?
And hence the term surrogate partner.
Right. So does the therapist, the surrogate partner, is there any sex that's ever exchanged?
Depends on the client and what their particular problem is. It does happen sometimes.
It does, really?
If it's a sexual dysfunction,
Right.
then sex is really the focus. But most of the time, whatever is getting in the way is really not about sex, not about intercourse.
Right.
It's more often things like shame, communication, could be body image problems,
So how
could
would...
be anxiety.
Yeah.
And it's so the actual sex act usually isn't part of the therapy.
Right. Does sometimes a patient, or what do you want to call them, a client, or do they come into this hopefully thinking that they may be able to get some of these issues played out and hopefully have a therapist have, like, are there really a chance sometimes that maybe have sex?
As I said, in some cases,
But
yes.
what cases usually leads into
Well,
that?
For example, if a woman has vaginismus,
Right.
Which is an involuntary contraction, sometimes as a result of childhood abuse,
Yeah.
because basically being touched
Yeah,
is a kind of assault.
right.
So the body tenses up.
But
And then the therapy would be about, touching her
Genitals. Right.
and getting her to relax. And so we approach it in a very slow and safe way.
Right.
The client's always in control of the pace of the sessions.
Right.
Can always say,
But it's
say
something
stop.
that they choose, or does the therapist say, okay, this is, I think, the element or area we need to progress in?
Yeah,
Who chooses what
it's
stage?
Yeah, the therapist would suggest it. The client would decide, yes, I want to do this.
Right.
So it's really up to the client at every stage, and it's entirely a voluntary
I've
thing.
thought always that it's not a sexual therapy. A surrogate, I've always thought, is that somebody who has had problems with sex before and they want to clear that issue with a professional so that they can get back to normal.
Exactly, and that's where I work with the client on whatever their issue is. If they, as I mentioned, anxiety, body acceptance. A lot of women, they have a lot of shame around their abdomen. They
Right.
might have, say, a scar, from mastectomy or surgery.
Right.
They might have from some sort of assault. They might have anxiety. They might kind of leave their body a little bit.
Right.
So we work with whatever their presenting challenge is.
Are there certain boundaries that are put in place before the therapy begins?
Yes.
How?
Yes, there
Let's
are.
say, for instance, how long would let's say if the therapist knew that that particular patient eventually should be touched, so how long progress? Like how long would it take to progress up to where let's say that that's the healing that person needs? From the initial beginning when you had that client come to you or that patient come to you, you had the consultation verbally, right? Mm-hmm. So how long, even though you see it right off the start that this is what they need is healing touch in their genitals, how long would it take to get to that point is what I'm asking.
Yeah, and it would depend on, there's a lot of different possibilities. The client might seek me out thinking that surrogate partner therapy is for them, and then I would refer them to a talk therapist because the two of us work together.
Right.
I don't work individually with the client in the surrogate partner therapy. So it's always the three people, the client, me, and the talk therapist. Right. So that there's, because healing, there is an element that's processing and talking about it, and there's an element that's actually touching.
Do you find that
Both are important.
do you find that it's just single people, or do people come as couples for surrogate therapy?
No, most of the time, couples would work in the traditional couples therapy model,
Right.
and they would work with each other and the therapist. It's really meant for people that have some challenge and don't have a partner.
Is there more men or more women with different sexual challenges, do you think?
Well, statistically speaking,
from what you've
there's-
experienced in your career.
yeah, statistically speaking, there are more women that have challenges, but more men are motivated to seek out therapy. So it's not a clear answer.
So
to that question.
is it like weighing way over to the women? That it's weighing more on that side, or why is there so many women that are seeking out this type of therapy? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. Well, at this point, there actually aren't a lot of women. Most of the surrogate partners are females that are working with male clients. Women, because of societal values, are kind of they're under-recognized as sexual beings, and so that's part of where surrogate partner therapy comes in, to help women kind of connect to their sexuality, because a lot of them have had bad things happen to them.
So how long would it take? Let's say somebody came and they were, I don't know, 35, and you worked with them for a few months. Have you worked with people just for years and years and years? Like, what's the longest span that you've worked with a particular client?
Well, it varies a lot. It could be half a dozen sessions if it's a simple problem.
Right.
If someone has suffered from a lot of abuse, it could be months or years, because the healing part is about retraining the body to know that touch is actually okay and safe for someone who's traumatized.
Where do you touch them? Start
wherever they want to be touched.
You have to ask them first?
Actually,
where do you want me to touch you? Oh,
yeah. I say, where would you like to be touched?
Right.
How would you like to be touched?
Do they know?
Sometimes they don't know.
Oh.
And so sometimes it's just waiting, pausing, breathing.
So how do you start touching if they don't know?
I don't.
So then what do you do?
I wait.
Wait for what?
For them to be ready to know what they want. And that might take 10 minutes,
Really?
20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Have you ever had a session where they just still couldn't figure it out, where they want it to be touched, or how they want it to be touched?
Sometimes. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the process of returning to them their ability to choose and to be in control.
Yeah. Have you, I know we're going to wrap this up a little bit, but have you had anybody immediately say that they want to be touched in the genitals?
Sometimes, yes.
Right off the start?
Sometimes because of their conditioning,
Right.
they sexualize
Yeah.
any kinds of touch. And so then I step in, I say, okay, no, let's start talking about just basic touch.
Yeah,
and we'll start with something simple like a hug.
Well, it's a pretty touchy subject, isn't it? We really have to kind of just let it go, but it was really nice having you on.
Thank you.
And touched on a few sensitive topics there, and hopefully can have you back. Merry Christmas to you. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay. That was fun. Hey, welcome back to the Sex with Dr. Zen show today, and the next guest, Bruce Anderson. Nice to have you here. Love the red shirt, orgasmic meditation. That's what you're going to talk to me about.
Absolutely.
That's my favorite topic.
Awesome.
I love that vibration, although I don't meditate on it very well. So just tell, what's orgasmic meditation anyways?
Orgasmic meditation is a partnered sexuality practice.
Okay.
That's designed to allow people to develop an intensely focused attention, connect with one another,
Right.
and to get out of their thoughts into their body and sensations. In other words, get into the moment.
Right.
To actually experience what's going on.
So is there a difference between orgasmic meditation and a climax with orgasm?
Yeah, I get to that in a second.
Okay.
The actual
Tell me more.
practice.
Yes.
The actual practice is a 15-minute practice that involves stroking a woman's pussy,
Right.
more specifically stroking her clitoris,
Right.
even more specifically than that, stroking the upper left-hand quadrant.
Jeez, I'm glad I'm sitting behind this desk.
Clitoris.
Honest. I'm really, keep going
The
though.
man strokes with his tip of his left index finger.
Right. Why the left? Is there a difference?
that has to do with access to the, easier access to the left side of the clitoris.
Oh, okay.
And for reasons that I don't pretend to understand, there seems to be a cluster of nerve endings right there on that left-hand side of the clitoris that when you hit it,
Yeah.
if you're stroking slowly and lightly, I can feel it in my finger. It's, ooh, there it is.
Yeah. So
It's bang, that's it.
so this is just for women.
The practice can be for men and women.
Right.
The strokee, the person with the clitoris,
Yeah.
most people with clitorises are women.
Right.
So
Most.
there's a woman involved
He-
in the process. Well, gender and sex gets pretty flexible these days, but the person being stroked has to have a clitoris.
Right.
The stroker can be a man or a woman.
Okay.
And over time, both the stroker and the strokee, by means of that focused attention, connection, and getting down into your sensations,
Right.
they start sharing what's going on.
Okay.
They experience each other's feelings and emotions.
But what if you're getting really turned on with all this stroking going on, and you know, I mean, what if you have an orgasm? Is that okay?
That's fine.
Is that
That's
okay? But
fine.
I thought it's so.
Actually, what an important aspect to the practice, I'm glad you brought that up, is that it's goalless.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is that people think of climax as, oh, well, that's what sex is all about.
Right.
We're here to get off.
Right.
And that means having a climax.
Mm-hmm.
We actually use, and that's a goal that's left out of OM, or orgasmic meditation.
Right.
And the reason is that because when you have a goal, you have to focus on the goal. And that takes your attention away from the connection, away from being in your body, into worrying about, oh, am I going to get off? Is he getting off?
Can we learn to do this on our own, or do you have to have somebody stroking our
have
pussy?
to have a partner
But-
to do this. And the reason for that, you know, and any woman can stroke her own clit and feel arousal, but the kind of attention, connection, and bringing you out and sharing of that partnered energy is something that can only happen with a partner.
Right.
You had started to ask about why we use words like orgasm and climax.
Yeah.
We make a difference because in normal vocabulary, they means the same thing. Which I think is unfair, because there's all of that incredible good feeling that happens during foreplay, even when we're having a good conversation.
Right.
Like, I'm an intensity junkie.
Are you?
I like to build energy and conversation to get things going. That's actually a form of orgasm, as we use the word.
So
It covers a big range, and one of the problems is that by not having a word for all that, we tend to dismiss it.
Right.
When we have a word for it, oh, suddenly that has value.
Right.
And that's what we're focused on, is the orgasm.
I always-
Climax happen, it's great.
Yeah, I always thought orgasmic meditation was just being in that vibration of feeling orgasmic, and then just being there forever. So try not to, like, is there other techniques? Let's say if the person who's getting stroked and she verbalizes and she's going, oh my God, don't stop doing that. Isn't there like a purpose, like you should prolong it? You know, if you feel the clit getting really, really hard, and you know that everything's building up, and you know, the giver back
stroker,
off,
yeah.
the stroker back off a little bit, so that they can really experience that energy? Because isn't it about an energy to learn to meditate in that? Because
It
that's where
is.
you get your vitality, right?
It's very much about building that energy, and the communication
Right.
that happens between couples during this is structured to allow you to make requests or offers
Right.
without having to think about it
Mm-hmm.
very much. You know, a woman might say a little harder, a little slower, a little lighter.
Yeah.
A man might say, sense something's going on, and if after you've stroked for a while, you get a feeling for, you know, would you like me to slow down? And yes, please.
So this 15-minute time frame, what's
Yes.
the importance? What does it take? Like
15 minutes is arbitrary but important. It's an arbitrary choice in the sense that that's short enough that busy people can actually schedule it into their busy day.
Right.
It's long enough to actually build up a lot of energy.
Right.
The fact that there is a limit is part of the container of Om.
So we can
That
go
al-
past that. We can go past 15. You
If
just
you go
recommend
past the
15
fif-
minutes and that's
Well,
it?
No, if you go past 15 minutes, you're doing something else. You're breaking the container. The 15 minutes is important for relaxing that vigilance.
Right.
You know, if somebody walks up and starts rubbing up against you in a way on the subway or something in a way you don't like, your vigilance center comes
Have you
up.
seen people have orgasms after 15 minutes? It just happens that quick. They're just so excited, and as soon as you start
Well, remember
playing with her?
The orgasm happens, the orgasm starts before I even touch the clit.
right,
So that's orgasm.
Right.
Climaxes can happen anytime. Sometimes they happen, sometimes they don't. And climax for women and orgasm in general is wildly more varied than what men are used to experiencing. So that by being a stroker working with women, I get a tremendously enhanced
I would get turned
sensation.
on if I was like stroking, like
Yeah.
can you only just stroke a woman? Like you can't stroke a male partner?
There is such a thing as a male Om,
There better be. Whoa.
but experience has shown that it just doesn't carry the oomph
Yeah.
that
Our female
Stroking.
orgasms are more powerful. That's why it's for us, right?
basically.
Basically?
that's-
Oh, I love
yeah.
it.
I mean, you're right. That's
Yeah, it's
an
true.
excellent way to sum it up.
Yeah. I love orgasmic meditation. I love the whole topic. It's a favorite place to be in life, especially for women. I think each woman should have more of them.
Absolutely.
We have to talk more about this another time, but it was great having you here
Thank
on
you.
the Sex with Dr. Zen show. Great.